Would you believe I've been at this for 4 years now, so there's only one thing for it. Let's crack open a proper good bottle of bourbon. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, today we are celebrating 4 years of the crummiest of beards. It's been an absolute adventure and it is not over yet. We are carrying on forth into the ether. Some things might change soon, not necessarily content wise. I'm going to try and keep with a pretty consistent schedule, but yeah, the environment in which we do things may start to differ a little bit. But anyway, a story for another time. Today we're looking back into the past and into just celebrating the fact that, well, 4 years of this kind of thing is even possible at all. Thanks to each and every one of you, of course, for joining, subscribing and watching along the way. And we're going to celebrate with this, the most expensive bottle of whiskey I've ever bought. And just how expensive is the most expensive bottle of whiskey I've ever bought? Honestly, in whiskey terms, not that much. But I've tried to get deals, get offers, be in the right place at the right time to get you a good collection of high-end whiskey to deliver for reviews without completely bankrupting myself. A few months ago, I was in a bar in town, in my local town of Nottingham, and they had Weller 12 on the bar, and well, it was expensive. A double measure of it cost me more than some of the bottles behind me. It was obscene, but it was also my actual birthday, not my channel's birthday. And I thought, you know what? I need to know how good this is to really know whether to ever kind of shell the cash for another bottle of Weller. And while I absolutely adored it, it was one of my all-time favorites. I do like Buffalo Trace products. This is one of them. And well, I thought I wasn't that big on wheated whiskey until recently, and I started to realise actually a lot of my favourite whiskies are wheated ones. I'm just not that keen on some interpretations of wheated whiskey that originated from non-wheated whiskey. That's a bit of a tongue twister, but you get what I mean. But anyway, I tried the Weller 12, I absolutely loved it, and then a few months later, I was in Scotland. You'll notice a theme here. I buy a lot of my high-end American whiskey in Scotland. There's a reason for that we'll get into another time. And walked into the Whisky Shop, Fort William High Street, and they had this Weller Full Proof. Now, is this going to be better than that Weller 12 I tried all those months ago? I don't know. It's stronger, it's a full proof bottle. As a result, it feels like a better idea, but it's not an age statement, and it's definitely not 12 years. It's at least 6 from what I've read online, but realistically, we're not sure. It's probably a blend of a few different ages, and well, it's going to be very interesting. I've never had a barrel strength or full proof, whichever way you want to kind of divvy that up. They are different things. This is the same proof it went into the barrel in. It's not barrel strength as it what came out the barrel out, but anyway, we digress. But yes, what I'm saying is I've never had a particularly pokey wheated bourbon. This comes in at 57% or 114 proof, so whichever way you look at it, that's pretty damn strong. Not as strong as the Stag or Stag Junior we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, but it's not far off, and neither was the price. So taking a look at this bottle, I mean, it is doing the Weller thing, but as you may notice, there is a sticker on this side which says Barrel Select. This was selected by the Whisky Shop. It is a barrel pick, effectively, and you know, they aren't the cheapest out there. I'm not saying they aren't good. You can go in, you can try it. You can't do that with a lot of the online stores. I do like the Whisky Shop to a point. Normally that point is when I don't know what I want. But yeah, there is a premium. And when it's a barrel pick of theirs, that's also a premium. Basically, this retailed at 200 quid a bottle. Now, being the relatively frugal whiskey connoisseur that I am, I found an option on a deal for this to get a discount, a percentage discount, and when you're at 200 quid, well, any percentage discount works pretty well. I think it was 10%. As a result, I got 20 quid off it, which means this cost me £180. Was that a good price? Well, they've been going up for auction, and some lucky people out there have managed to bag one of these for as low as 140 in recent weeks, and some of the people have paid 250 for them. So I'll be honest, I'm going to take that as a win. I paid less than the actual retail, and that's all you can really ask for sometimes when it comes to hype whiskey. shall we crack it open, pour a dram, and celebrate 4 years of this ever more raggedy appearing beard. Now, unlike all of the other Buffalo Trace bourbons I reviewed, this is a different mash bill. I keep saying it's the same mash bill, it's the same mash bill for Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, Stag, and so on. This, though, isn't, because it is in fact wheated. As I've said, there's no rye in this whatsoever, and that can have, well, pretty massive implications. Fantastic cork pop, always a good sign. It looks nice as well. Now, I have said that this is the most expensive bottle of whiskey I've ever bought, but it's only by a fraction. That bottle of Stag, very, very similar price. And yeah, it's not as big, as rich, or as strong as the Stag, so it's going to have to do a lot to make up for it, because that was, well, a pretty sensational experience. In the glass, it's got a nice orange hue to it. Looks a bit kind of translucent, almost verging on like a light cola colour, but yeah, it looks the business, it looks like bourbon. On to the aromas then. That is what I remember from that Weller 12, give or take, all those months ago. It's got a real pillowy, sweet, then comes this sharpness, it's red berries, a bit of citrus, touch of aloe vera in there perhaps. Aloe vera. Overall, sweet with an underlying spice. The spice isn't coming out, letting you know what it is, letting you know that it's there. It's just a reminiscent idea of some seriously prickly heat, but like it's being covered by a lot of other things. This feels less intense than that Stag, much less rich. In the glass, it doesn't feel that thick. I know the ABV is high, but yeah, it's really not looking all that strong. Doesn't smell that strong either. Really not difficult to get your nose in here, but it does smell very nice indeed. So let's give it a go. Cheers. Here's to another 4 years. Okay. Damn it. Why do I have to like things that are gonna make me bankrupt? Now, I'll be honest, I'm not having the kind of epiphany, intense, almost out-of-body experience I had with that bottle of Stag, and it's unfortunate that this review is going to be kind of comparing them without comparing them a lot, but it was only 2 weeks ago. It was a very similar price, both from Buffalo Trace. It's kind of inevitable, but whilst it doesn't have the intensity, the bite, the depth, the ability to take your breath away, quite literally. I was struggling to speak during parts of that Stag review. This has absolute refinement and absolute quality that, well, I'm struggling to think of anything else that really comes close. Now, of course, the Weller 12 really does come close, and in some ways I would say is probably a little bit better, but this definitely makes up for it. I'm not sure it's overall a better or worse experience. The Weller 12 may be a little sweeter, a little richer in the oaky tones. This a bit more vibrant, a bit more varied, a bit more, let's call it raw class. That richness from just being a stronger whiskey is definitely helping along its way. Now, we will do a proper top to bottom taste test with this one for old time's sake, because I think it's important, and then I'll give you some kind of final thoughts about which one I think I'll be drinking the most of going forward. And if you hadn't already guessed, this is another bottle that we're going to be doing a year-long taste test with. I'll be checking in with you in a few months' time, 6 months' time, 9 months' time, and a year's time to work out how this develops in the bottle. But anyway, let's go for that first bit. So right on the tip of the tongue, sweet, spritzy, fruity, red berries, bit of citrus, quite cola-esque up from there, has to be said. Then over the mid palate, goes fresher, leads a bit more into the citrus, comes in with that kind of aloe vera, kind of soothing but tingling, cleaning sensation, shall we say. It's like using that tea tree shampoo where you shouldn't be using that tea tree shampoo on the middle of your tongue, but it doesn't last. Back of the tongue, richer, more fiery, little bit of toasted oak. It's got flares of burnt caramel. It's, yeah, a fully well-rounded thing. And then the aftertaste, if I can do it any justice, having taken just 3 quick sips, starts hot, drops off real quick. You're left with a slight, it's chewy, goes a bit chewy, goes a bit burnt marshmallow, cinder toffee, vanilla fudge, but with a, I don't want to say a savouriness, because that is a distinct thing. That's like distinctly salty peanut shell. It's not that. It's not quite there. But there's this earthy, oaky line that's not strong. It's mild, it's chill, but it definitely stops the sweetness from just becoming, well, just another vanilla whiskey, if that makes sense. It really does keep it all in line. It's balanced, and that is why this is pretty damn good. So, how do I feel about this, having now opened 2 bottles of pretty expensive whiskey within the space of 3 weeks? Well, I feel like, even though Stag in the US can be bought, if you can ever get it at, you know, MSRP, for a third of the price that I paid for it. Whereas this, I paid MSRP for, RRP in the UK. It should be better, right? Because it's that much more expensive in theory. But the Stag is an event, right? It's big, it's bold, it's brash, it's proper cowboy bourbon. It's an experience to remember. I wouldn't want to drink the Stag out in the middle of the woods whilst hunting a stag, because chances are you wouldn't make it home. It's going to do a number on you. On the flip side, the Weller, this is a gentlemanly beverage. This is sit back in your Chesterfield, cowboy hat and boots on if you want to, but kick on the smoking jacket and sip away, because it has just got that level of class. It's refined, it's, yes, it's the businessman's whiskey. And, well, I like having both. And when it comes to sharing and caring these bottles, more people I know are going to like the Weller, because it hasn't got, well, it doesn't feel like it's trying to kill you. But me personally, that Stag is feeling like a better buy right now, but I'm not mad about either of them. This is very, very nice, and I will continue to enjoy it infinitely. I'd like a few more Wellers, though, in my collection to be sure of how good this is compared to some of the others. And the problem with that is, well, they're all really expensive. And that really is all I've got to say about it. So as again, thank you very much for the last 4 years. It's been a blast. I've loved talking to each and every one of you in the comments, sometimes on live streams. The rest of it has been brilliant. We shall continue into the future. Maybe some changes on the horizon, but nothing to get worried about. It'll just be bigger and better. And for now, I'm going to kick back and pour myself another one of these because, well, it is very nice indeed. I'll be back with an update on this in a few months' time, and that really is everything. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.